You ate dinner alone again tonight, and you scrolled through everyone else's group photos while you did it. And some part of you started to believe, slowly, quietly, without even realizing it, that this is just what your life is. I want to say something plainly before we go anywhere else. Loneliness is a feeling. It is not a life sentence. And there are people in this community, in this exact space you're in right now, who ate alone tonight too. And I want to introduce you to them. But first, I want to sit with you a little while, because I don't think you need more advice about how to make friends. I don't think what's hurting is a skill gap. What's hurting is the gap between the life you see other people living and the quiet of your own four walls. And I want to start there, in that gap, rather than rush past it. When did it start feeling like this? For some people, it happens suddenly. A relationship ended, or a friend group dissolved, or you moved somewhere new and the connections you were counting on didn't materialize the way you expected. For others, it happens so slowly you can't name the moment. The gatherings got less frequent. The calls got shorter. And one day you realized that the person you call when something happens, there is nobody automatic. You have to think about it. And sometimes you think about it for a long time and then just don't call anyone. That's a specific kind of lonely. It doesn't mean nobody cares about you. It means the infrastructure of connection that most people take for granted got quietly dismantled somewhere along the way, and you haven't found a way to rebuild it yet. I want you to hear something. The research on loneliness is actually heartbreaking in how universal it is. Studies consistently show that around 1 in 3 adults experience significant loneliness. Not occasional aloneness, but the kind that lingers, the kind that follows you to sleep. And the people experiencing it almost universally believe they are alone in experiencing it because the people around them are posting the group photos and the birthday dinners and the holiday tables. Nobody posts the quiet Tuesday nights. You are not uniquely broken. You are experiencing something that is statistically common and culturally invisible. The shame about it is the problem, not you. 639 Hertz. The frequency you're resting in right now is the Solfeggio frequency of connection, the tone associated with interpersonal harmony, the reestablishment of relationships, the resonance between people. It is sometimes called the heart frequency, and your nervous system knows it, even if you can't articulate why this particular sound feels like a hand reaching across the silence. Let it do its work. You don't have to force anything, just receive. I want to talk about the difference between aloneness and loneliness, because I think it matters, and most people use the words interchangeably. Aloneness is a condition. You are physically by yourself. Aloneness can be chosen, comfortable, restorative. Monks choose aloneness. Writers choose aloneness. You've probably had moments of aloneness that felt like pure gift, a Saturday morning with coffee and silence, a long drive with the music up. Loneliness is not about being alone. Loneliness is about disconnection, the feeling that there is nobody who truly knows you, or nobody who would notice if you disappeared from the story. You can be lonely in a crowded room. You can be lonely inside a relationship. You can be lonely in a city of 8 million people.
When we go long periods without deep connection, the neural pathways involved in initiating and sustaining it become less accessible. It gets harder to reach out, not because you've become antisocial, but because the mental habit of reaching out has gotten rusty. And then the rusty feeling gets interpreted as personality. I'm just not that kind of person anymore. And that interpretation becomes its own wall. But you can exercise this. You are doing it right now by being here, by choosing something communal rather than checking out entirely. That counts. Now I want to give you something specific. The smallest unit of connection is acknowledgement. Not a deep conversation, not a vulnerability dump, just, I see you. You exist. You matter in this moment. That's what I'm asking you to do in the comments tonight. Not something profound. Just show up. Tell us where you're watching from. Tell us how you're actually doing. One honest sentence. Because what ends loneliness is not finding the perfect person. It's accumulating moments of being seen. And this community is a place where that can happen. I Am Warrior isn't a brand, it's a gathering. Every person in this comment section is carrying something. Every person here chose to spend 15 minutes with frequency and honesty instead of numbing out. That already makes you part of something. Now, I want to speak now directly to the part of you that has been disappointed before. The part that reached out and it didn't land right. The part that tried to be honest and got met with surface-level response. The part that has quietly decided that deep connection might just not be in the cards for this season of life. I hear that. That is a real and reasonable response to real and reasonable pain. Being burned by attempted connection is part of why people stop attempting. But I want you to consider something. Every relationship that matters started with a risk that felt disproportionate to the evidence. Every person who was in your life, in any meaningful way, at some point, one of you extended something before there was reason to believe it would be received. Connection doesn't wait for certainty. It initiates into uncertainty, and certainty builds from there. You don't have to go big. You don't have to be vulnerable in a way that scares you. Start small. Respond to one comment. Send one text you've been putting off. Say hello to one person you see regularly but have never actually talked to. The smallest crack in the wall lets in the most light. These are your declarations. Say them to yourself, not as affirmations you're trying to convince yourself of, but as statements of what is true even on the days it doesn't feel true. I am not invisible, even when it feels that way. My presence matters in rooms I don't always notice. I am worthy of belonging exactly as I am right now. Not when I'm fixed, not when I'm further along, right now. I am part of a family here, one that doesn't require me to perform to stay. And the warrior declaration, the one that carries you into tomorrow. I take one step toward connection today, just one. That is enough. As this frequency carries you toward the end of our time together, I want you to hold one image, a dinner table, one place setting, warm kitchen light, rain on the window, and across the table an empty chair. But the light falling on that chair is the same warm light that's falling on you. Because the presence of people who care about you is not always visible, but it is real. You are not alone, not in this frequency, not in this community, not tonight. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from and how are you really doing. Just say hi. Let this community actually meet you. We answer every single comment.